Sporting Times was a lot of fun to do for several reasons. One, suddenly you are given 175-year-old archive of a sort of leading newspaper in the country, and your world opens up. I mean, digitized archival collections going back to 1838 and sports reports going back to 1839-40. So what is Sporting Times? Let me first tell you that in brief. Sporting Times is basically a collection of 175 sports events that have dominated the Indian sporting landscape over the last 175 years, culled from the archives of the Times of India. It was done to curate the 175th anniversary celebration of the Times of India. It was launched on the 29th of May 2013 by Sachin Tendulkar and Abhinav Bindra in Mumbai, and then we did another launch in Kolkata with Saurav Ganguly. It's got amazing archival collections and reports used in the original. I'll give you some examples. For example, the 1928 Indian hockey gold medal was covered in detail by the Times of India. Then it was a front page story, which is amazing. 1936, the Dhyan Chand story in the Olympics, which India won gold medal again, was covered by the Times of India in the front page. So that's there. I mean, it's a coexistence, with cricket and non-cricket as in Olympic sports. So India's debut in cricket in England, 1932, is adequately covered. 1936, the second tour is covered. Alongside are the Olympic stories, and obviously it comes right up to the front. So there are major landmarks like celebrations of 1983, 1971, the cricketing landmarks when India beat the West Indies and England in 1971, winning the Prudential Cup in '83. It's also got India's Olympic exploits, the 1980 gold medal, and then more recently the Abhinav Bindra gold medal, London Olympics. So it is a treasure trove and an original archival based treasure trove for any sports enthusiast interested in the history of Indian sport. If you look at Sporting Times, it's basically a journey that takes you back in time, and then it's a roller coaster ride. You can read the highs, you can read the lows, and it's also got the lows, mind you. It's not only the highs. So you've got the 0 for 4 in 1952 at Headingley, and you've also got the Asian Games when India gets pumped 7 goals by Pakistan. India doesn't win a single medal. So it's got absolutely amazing stories, and I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to include cricket and non-cricket in it. Oh yeah. In Sporting Times, it's an interesting mesh. What I've done with the book is I've sort of written a very detailed introduction of about 10,000 words, which sets out the book as to what it contains, why it is important, why people should read it, and then every event that I've culled out from the archive has a commentary by me. So why am I choosing an 1840 sports report of a cricket match from Bengal? Why am I choosing a horse racing report? For example, there is a report from the 1950 Times of India archives which says that India did qualify to play the Football World Cup final in Brazil. India did not participate, not because they were playing in bare feet and did not have boots, but because of the fact that we did not have 40,000 rupees. 40,000 rupees to send a team to the Football World Cup. That is why India did not participate. Now that's unbelievable. So it's got an arc. Every report or every original report that is included in Sporting Times has a commentary which locates it in the annal of Indian sports history, trying to tell the discerning reader as to why this report is significant, why you need to know about it, where this fits in the entire jigsaw of Indian sporting history, and how one can take a lesson from it and move forward. That is what makes Sporting Times difficult. It was a very difficult choice to cull out the 175. What do you take, what do you leave? So what I eventually had to do was, I was sort of going way beyond 175, so I was going up to maybe 250 odd reports. So what I did, I combined achievements. For example, for Vishwanathan Anand, all his 5 world championships I combined into one and made into one report, which covers all of them. For Sachin Tendulkar, there are myriad achievements. I've combined all of them into maybe 2 or 3 reports on Sachin Tendulkar. Not 2 or 3 reports, but rather sort of combine it into one block on Sachin Tendulkar. So that is what I've tried to do in the case of Sporting Times. No, nothing was collated. I mean, I was given the raw archive. I mean, that is the whole fun. As a historian, if you can still go to the archive and sort of dig out that one little piece of material which gives you an incredible high, it's like an orgasm. You feel absolutely elated with that. So no, nothing was collated, nothing was organized. I was given the random archive. I was given it and said, can you do a book on the history of Indian sport? What you want. I mean, even the 175 plan, that 175 events commemorating 175 years and the journey of 175 years was my idea. It was not anybody sort of telling me that this is how the editorial structure is or the plan is or whatever like that. It was not like that. I was given an absolutely raw archive to play with, and I played with it. So, I had great fun with it. I must confess, I was absolutely delighted. I was thrilled at being able to do the book. quite a bit of work. I mean, I've been using the Times of India. I had an advantage. I'd actually looked at the Times of India archives for the last 15 years during the course of my research. I mean, I'd used Times of India archives for the social history of Indian cricket, 22 Yards to Freedom. I'd used it for my illustrated history of cricket. I'd used it for the book on football, Goalless. I'd used it for my work on the Commonwealth Games. I'd used it for my work on the Olympics, the India story, which I've spoken to you about when we spoke last year. So I've actually used the Times of India archives extensively over the last 15 years. So I knew what I was looking at. So this time round, I could actually pinpoint the dates. What I did was I made a list of the major sports events in Indian history. So I went to the dates, and then that's how. Otherwise, it's an impossible task to take a look at 175 years. Nobody can finish it in a lifetime, leave alone a year or 2 years or whatever it is. So I knew the dates, I knew the months, I knew more or less the periodic, sort of data from where I had to cull my stories. So I went and searched those exact dates and tried to figure out, okay, this is how I need to do it. Obviously, not all matched. But then that was my entry point, and that sort of gave me a real entry point into the bigger puzzle. And I think I've done a fairly decent job, because the book has already sort of made the bestseller list. It's sold out. It's done. The reviews that have come out all over the world have been pretty interesting and good. So I'm delighted. But it was a mammoth task. Make no mistake about it. But the fact is, it's difficult for me to answer how long it took, because actually the research had started in 1998, 99 when I started to look at the Times of India archives. The archive exists in two formats. It's digital. They've been able to digitize practically the whole lot of it. Up to 2003, it's sort of in a digital format, and then when e-paper started, it's in the e-paper format. And there is also hard copies of the Times of India which exist in their Mumbai library. So it exists in both formats. So you can sort of source particular material from the library, and you can also take a look at the digital stuff, because what is important is, digitally only one version of the paper is available, which is extremely significant for a historian or a researcher. What do I mean by this? Say from 2000 onwards, the Times of India has been published in several cities: Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, etc. Now, digitally only one edition exists. So basically one particular edition, whether it's Delhi or Mumbai or whatever it is. Now, in order to get the Kolkata edition or the Delhi edition, the Mumbai edition, if you want to look at a particular second edition, you got to look at the hard copy. So you got to balance, okay, was the Kolkata Times of India edition saying the same thing as the Mumbai edition did, or the Delhi edition did? Now that was another challenge. For example, a Saurav Ganguly report always got a top mention in Kolkata compared to Mumbai. Now that was telling me a lot of interesting stories, that how regional politics plays out in Indian sport. It's been an absolutely wonderful project to work on. It is based on the Times of India archive. So whatever exists in the time, because I did not use other photographs or other material, but I did use the Times of India archive extensively, because the idea was to cull it from the Times of India. So yes, there are loads of photographs in the book, loads, some terrific photographs, and each of the photographs speak a particular story. Like there's a back page photograph which I think is sensational. The whole of Mumbai Marine Drive is taken over by people, hordes and throngs and thousands of people who are looking from the bridge at the Indian T20 World Cup winning team. It's mind-blowing. So the Times of India itself, the archive itself, has incredible number of pictures which I had access to and I've used.